There we go. Hey, so who are the mer? You've probably heard about the maids of the sea, but did you know there are also mermen? And I should have also put in the document the creatures with the sexes of both sides. And they're collectively called the mer or the merfolk. I feel like that's more respectful than just calling them mermaids, even though mermaids are the ones that we typically get in connection with. We rarely get in connection with the mermen or the androgynous ones. But I do feel like it's a lot more inclusive, you know, just like finding out what people's pronouns are.
Yeah, I like that too.
So that's why I like merfolk. And there's a lot of different kinds of mer from legend. Um, some have one tail, some have two. Did you know that the Starbucks mermaid has a split tail so that she can have sex with
Yes.
humans?
That's some ancient archetypal symbolism too.
Totally,
I think
totally.
that Starbucks manifested their success by invoking that imagery.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Um, uh, and you know, and then some in legend have dolphin parts or fish parts or seal skins like the selkies, um,
Yeah.
or snake-like appendages. And of course, just like most legendary creatures, they can assist you or harm you. And the mer are notorious for being capricious, even more than the fairies. Well, I don't know if more. Probably like the fairies, put it that way. Very capricious. Um, and they don't have our ethics, our same ethics. Um, you know, and woe to the humans that offend the mer. They can grant wishes, they can increase your psychic powers, lead you to treasure, offer protection, promote healing. They can control the weather, they can shape shift, you know, and of course they sing magical songs. And you and Leah, my singing friends, are such mermaids in my mind. That's how, you know, the mer, I think the mer can communicate with the same language as the dolphins with sonar, you know, underwater. And it's not linguistic, but it's, you know, it's successful and you can connect. And it's a really beautiful language that, you know, is languageless. it 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 and those magical people, humans that have that ability to not only sing beautifully but sing with magic, are I think do unconsciously maybe or maybe consciously connecting with the mer and connecting with that sonar magic and
Yes.
you know, um, taking us places. I think that's why the most popular, powerful singers are the ones that can take us places because they're connecting to that, you know, that ability. Um, you know, it's not just storytelling; it's travel. It's astral travel.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, um, yeah, the Mer are really cool. Here's some books. My two favorite books, but and actually the DJ Conway one is really great book. The other one's okay. The Lucy Cavendish one, but Lucy Cavendish also made a mermaid deck that I have, and I really enjoy the mermaid deck. The Oracle of the Mermaids by Lucy Cavendish. I
Ooh.
also have this mermaid tarot that's kind of, it's very tarot. It's exactly, you know, 78 cards, but it's beautiful art. What I don't like about the mermaid tarot is the book.
The book.
Yeah, not because, I mean, the book is beautiful and it has like full size renditions of the art of each card,
Uh-huh.
but the descriptions don't agree with me. You know what I mean? I just
I
don't
got you.
resonate with the descriptions. But anyway, so anyway, these two books though have a lot of interesting energetic meditations and exercises that you can do to connect to the energies of the myrrh, of the ocean, of the watery magical realms. And both of them also have a lot of history of, you know, some of the legends of the myrrh and the creatures of the ocean. So here's one mermaid meditation that anybody can do. And, you know, grab a crystal. I like to be in water, kind of makes sense. You know, like in a bathtub. And, you know, envision the white light, feel the tide of the ocean, and, you know, and just kind of move with the water, get into the flow. And that's part of the myrrh magic, I think, is the ability to get into the flow of life and be able to, you know, stop resisting so much. Stop saying, why can't I have this thing I want? And instead be in joy and flow of what you have, you know. I think that's the beauty of water magic, is getting you into that flow. And, you know, it allows you to be accepting of your own emotions. I think it's a great gateway for doing shadow work. The ability to just say, yeah, I'm feeling this thing and it's okay. You know, I mean, I think the important thing you get out of therapy is somebody saying that's okay to feel that way. And I think you get that from water. And it's really a subconscious thing, but I think it's a very universal thing.
Yeah.
And you can connect to the myrrh, usually mermaids. You know, I think it's funny too, and I know it's a gross exaggeration, but there's so many women that, and I'm not saying all women, but so many women are the communicators of a group, right? Like at work. And the men are the doers. They want to sit, especially in IT, right? They want to sit in their corner and do their thing. You know, to somebody tell me what you want, and I'll go do it. Okay, just don't talk about it. Just don't make me talk about it, right? And I know it's a gross exaggeration, but I feel that that's expressed in the myrrh world. So if you're communicating with a myrrh, you're most likely communicating with a female myrrh, because, or an androgynous one with lots of female energy, because they are the communicators. The mermen are the doers. They're the ones out fishing and hunting and, you know, changing the waves and, you know, doing things quietly. But yeah, but whatever messages you get from them are probably really subtle, even from the mermaids. But they're beautiful heartfelt messages. And here's some YouTube links for some meditations you can try.
Hey.
I love this one. This one's out of the DJ Conway book. This one, there's a whole chapter about getting myrrh messages, and so if you're next to any body of water, even a well, you know, or like groundwater, you can connect to the magical word. Oh, are they fighting? It's squabbling.
Yeah, Missy's trying to.
Oh, take over the
She's
bed.
trying to evict Joey, I think. Hey, don't bite his tail. Go on. She's like,
all right. They're so cute. So anyway, so to connect to myrrh, it's that unspoken language of, you know, of sound, of symbolism, you know, of water and feelings and emotions. And they love to speak in symbology too. And I love this message, this suggestion from DJ Conway is the way to connect to them is to draw symbols in the sand that mean something like, I love you, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And so her suggestion was first you draw a circle and then you draw a 5-pointed star that symbolizes the similarities and the oneness, and then you put a plus sign between them. We love you, we're all together. And the mermaid sang. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that reminds me, I used to like go and take a stick and I would write messages in the sand on the beach and then let the waves come and receive the message and wash it off of the sand.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. You were a little mermaid even as a little girl. You subconsciously understood all of that.
I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like if I put the message on the earth and then it's received by the waters, then you're combining the energy of the two.
Mhm.
Or so anyway, it was all intuitive.
I love that. Or another suggestion.
Oh, here we go.
I'm writing down what you said.
Oh.
Great mermaid, I know. Use a twig at the beach. Draw some symbols in the sand about love, oneness, whatever. And let the ocean take your message out to sea. That is so beautiful. I love that. Love that so much. Do you consciously remember having connections to the energy of the ocean or the sea creatures?
Ever since 2012, when I started to wake up, that's when I noticed there's a real connection there it was not just oh, I like swimming or oh, I like going to the beach, because that's what it was up until that point, was just like, I really like swimming.
Me too.
And when I was a kid, my dad lived at a place that had a pool and I was literally swimming in the pool every single day for
Me
like
too.
hours.
Me too.
But then when 2012 happened, I started having dreams about the sea, and I had this one dream that a huge tsunami was coming in, and I was totally calm the whole time. I was not a mermaid, I was a person, and I was about to be swept away by this huge wave.
Wow.
And I had no fear at all. Like, I knew everything was going to be okay. And there were all these dogs on the beach, and I was just trying to like gather them up in my arms and get them to safety, because I knew that this wave was coming. And that's all I remember about that. But I do know that we were at a place like Cannon Beach. It was on the coastline with all these really, really big like stones in the water, and it was very scenic.
Awesome.
And that was really like the beginning of when that energy really presented itself to me. And then around that same time, I met my spirit guide for the first time in a meditation. I was in a trance meditation, and what I saw was this undersea kingdom. Really, it reminded me kind of the underwater kingdom from The Little Mermaid.
Yay.
And My spirit guide was there and was not human, but was, I didn't realize that we were underwater at the time when I saw this scene until some dolphins swam past us. And then I was like, oh, we are underwater right now. But I didn't feel like I was underwater because I was able to move quite normally, and I had no, there was no resistance to my movement, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't feel like I was holding my breath.
Mm-hmm.
I was just breathing normally. Um, and my guide kind of, when I saw my guide, he sort of gestured to this kingdom that was off in the distance and invited me to explore that area. And as soon as I saw the dolphins, I was like, oh, I'm totally here for this. And I swam with the dolphins all throughout the whole, um the whole kingdom. And I remember that we swam together up to the surface of the water. We breached the surface of the water and jumped, and then we came back down into the water. And then it was like, wow, so that was really just, I was being shown this place. And then I came back out of that meditation, and it was like very brief. It was like maybe overall the whole thing was like 10 or 15 minutes to focus and to bring myself there. And then the actual moment of being there was really only a few minutes long. So I wasn't
Wow.
there for, I wasn't having this really deep immersive experience, but it was immersive
But
in the
you
sense
were
that I was immersed underwater for this whole
totally,
thing. And
totally.
visualizing it was very easy. Like it all came to me very, very easily, very naturally, and it felt like I was at home. And then when I came out of that experience, that was when I felt strange. I was like, that was really like, that's never happened to me before. And that was weird.
Well, no, not weird.
It
What
felt, it felt weird because of the newness. But now
mm,
when I think about it and I think of everything else that connects to that and everything that's happened since then, it feels more normal to me than walking on land. It's kind of weird
sure.
to put it that way, but yeah.
Because you're a mermaid.
Yeah.
You're totally a mermaid, girl.
Yeah. And the thing about, sound and vibration and that sonar thing, like
Mhm.
I feel the truth of that so deeply, like that there's no way that you can communicate in a normal way when you're underwater.
Sure, sure.
And the frequencies that you can perceive in that space, it's more like a hologram of sound and vibration. It's more like a hologram than it is a word. And
Sure,
this is why
sure.
it's so difficult to try and translate that information into words.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the metaphor of the hologram because it what that sonar message is conveying besides, whatever words we can label it or just kind of a surface thing.
Yeah.
It's sending like deep feelings and experiences and yeah, I mean so much that's not verbal. See Phoebe.
Yes.
She's
What a
watching.
sweet baby.
She's pouting.
She's like, how come I can't be a mermaid?
I want to be in your lap, Mom. You
Oh.
find me. Oh. Another
Joey's
thing I was
over
gonna.
here.
Yeah,
Joey's over
go
here
ahead.
like, I'm not looking at you.
Is he
Oh,
pointing his butt at the camera?
yeah.
Because I bet that's on purpose.
You want to come back over here, Joey? Oh, he's a sweet boy.
Ah, what a sweetheart.
What a sweet baby.
What a sweetheart. Another thing that sparked for me. So I had the same experience. The house that I grew up in had a pool, and spent the entire summer every day, sun up to sundown in the water. And what one thing that I remember loving doing was diving into the deep end and going all the way down to the bottom and swimming to the other end, like slowly and just, like doing spins and stuff. And the freedom of it, it was
Yes.
what I loved. And the mystery of it too. There's such a mystery. We love playing Marco Polo all the time, me and my brother and sister. And when you're underwater and you hear somebody say Marco, you can hear them, but they can't hear you
They
when you're
can't,
underwater.
yeah, they
It's I
can't hear
mean,
you.
it's like a secret like spy thing. I don't know. But I think that's another thing that the mermaid energy brings is freedom and mystery.
Yeah.
And the mermaids of legend were free sexual beings too. They were very unrepressed. And
Well,
they,
yeah, and like it there's like that one species of jellyfish that they found that
hmm,
is basically immortal because of the way that its life cycle works,
hmm,
that it can revert back to an earlier life cycle and then
hmm.
go through maturation again and then bring itself right back to that earlier state and just continue doing that over and over again. And
Wow.
in a sense, unless something else came along and killed it, it could continue doing that for who knows how long. Um,
Wow.
and I'll have to find out like what kind of jellyfish that was that they found was able to do that. Um,
That's funny.
but
Yeah.
the androgynous aspects and everything, like the way that things like reproduction happen, are they do not need to be a binary thing
Hmm,
um, in the water, and there's other land-based species that are the same. Um, I feel like that is a part of evolution in the same sense that I'm beginning to believe now that reincarnation itself is a product of evolution. Like if everything about evolution from like Charles Darwin is true and reincarnation is also real,
hmm.
then reincarnation could have been an evolutionary adaptation. And that gets really, really deep because that's like scientifically speaking, that opens a big can of worms from the
Sure
scientific
does.
perspective.
It sure
But
does.
on
Uh,
the in the sense of like evolution of consciousness and knowing that no matter what you do and what you learn in life, that you can only survive so much until you can't survive anymore. But if you can reincarnate, then you are actually surviving by the lessons that
yeah,
you've learned.
sure.
Because
Sure.
you don't have to be immortal, you were eternal, and that's different.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a lot of really fascinating information about um, as we reincarnate, we're evolving our soul, and I think, and maybe this is what you're touching on. I think that evolution of the soul is a deliberate thing that we're choosing in between lives.
Yeah.
It's a when we're in between lives.
Yeah.
And if we're lucky, we can remember it when we're alive. But when we're in between lives, that we're choosing to reincarnate again because the trajectory of our soul is saying, you know, thou shalt go this direction.
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't read enough books about that, but I definitely agree on the whole thing that, well, if you're lucky, you'll remember, but I don't know if that is a luck thing as much as a choice. It might be that between lives that you're choosing what stuff that you remember and take with you into the next experience.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
to say, oh, I didn't do
mm-hmm.
this the way that was best for me, and I want to do this differently. I'm going to try
Sure,
again in a different experience. And I
exactly.
want to
That's part of the
remember,
process.
Yeah, like I want to remember that I made this other choice before and I want to make a different
Right.
choice this time. So I want to take some of that information with me. Anyway, I'm getting us all
Yeah,
sidetracked
no, no,
of
no.
our whole thing.
I agree with you though, and I also think that there are spontaneous times in our lives, when we're alive, that we, um, for maybe other reasons besides, deliberately choosing to remember. I think we remember past lives, um, from triggers, things that trigger our memories, um, or situations or people that, especially that's been my experience, is meeting people that I've known in past lives and
Yeah.
not being able to, you know, be coherently saying why I know so much about somebody. That,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, we digress. So, we were talking about, the freedom of the mermaid, though, and I think there is a connection between, um, connecting to your mer inside you, and being able to connect to that unconscious memory of things that, maybe lives in that, that time in your soul between lives where you're thinking all those thoughts. I mean, there's something really deep there if you can connect to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to connect more um with my roots, I guess, because I mean, I don't know if this is my roots, if you will, but every time that I am going somewhere in meditation or a
Mhm.
visualization of something, it's like that movie The Abyss, where
Yeah.
I'm part of an advanced group of conscious beings who are highly evolved, and it's almost like I'm just bilocating all the time, and my life here as a human is one in which I'm an avatar of a different type of consciousness that is not a land-based kind of creature, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to describe, but it's like it's happened so many times. It can't just be all like a dream, right? It doesn't feel that way to me. But I don't want to decide that I know what it is for sure. Like I just want to allow the experience to evolve my consciousness further rather than decide that, oh, this is what it is and it's always going to be this, and just limit all potential for any future growth by making that sort of decision. I want to be open. It really
Yep.
does feel like I'm not really like, my human life is more like an avatar of a different life that I'm living all the time. And like I only step away from this, my quote unquote human life when I'm asleep. And then I'm going back to my place in like on some water world somewhere.
Totally. Totally. Didn't you also have, that experience at Trout Lake,
Oh yeah.
meeting the water world creatures?
That did not happen at Trout Lake. That
Oh.
was I had a QHHT hypnosis session several years ago,
Uh-huh.
and I want to say that was probably like 2017, 2018. And that was where I it's basically like in QHHT, what they want to do is to do a past life regression, but
Mhm.
the person facilitating this does not tell you what to see. They don't lead you in any way whatsoever. Everything is happening on the inside, and they do not know what you're seeing or what you're experiencing unless you tell them.
Sure.
So for me, it's like from the moment that the facilitator said, okay, now I want you to look around at your surroundings, and tell me about where you are. That's where I saw that I was on this watery planet that was not Earth. And I was somewhere in the Sirius system, and I don't know like if the planet had a name.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked down to see my body and saw this like undulating, sparkling, kind of almost like a ball gown, but it was like it was part of me. Like you couldn't distinguish this appearance, whether or not it had an edge to it, like a seam or a hemline or something. It wasn't like I was wearing a garment, but it felt like a garment for some reason. And this is what enabled me to travel through the water. So what I felt really, really drawn to go into the water. And so I did. And again, the facilitator didn't tell me to do any of this stuff. I was telling the facilitator what I was seeing, what I was experiencing.
Right.
Right. So I go into the water, and this sparkling kind of outfit, it was like I was undulating through the water to go deeper, and I was going very fast. And it was easy. It was effortless to travel this way. And as I'm going into the water, I'm seeing this light that's deep in the water. And I travel towards that until I find this city that is just illuminated with this bright white light.
Wow.
And I find this place that looks like it's a house with a door that looks like it's made of red coral. And so I go to this place, and it opens up, and I go inside, and that was where I saw my guide the second time. And he was like a father figure. And the whole place I realized was illuminated with apophyllite crystals. And then that connects back to what happened later on at Trout Lake, where I had the download about the resonance chamber, and I saw that the whole thing was illuminated with apophyllite crystals. So I know that that's a really big, that's a really important part of that whole thing. Like I connected my QHHT session, and like they were showing me that they illuminated everything and powered everything somehow with this crystal technology.
Wow.
And it was like there was a hearth inside the space that lit up the whole place, and it was all white apophyllite.
Wow. So magical.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Wow. Wow. Um, I think the realms of dreams and just the general astral is a water realm. I think. I think there's um, so that book from DJ Conway talks about how life is a necessary part of existence for all living creatures.
Yeah.
And it connects us all. It's the, I mean, like the air and the land. It's vital to our existence, and I think it's deeply connected to the spirit realm. That I think that water in the West is the entrance to the spirit realm. That's what I think. Um, and water magic is usually the most subtle, but the most spiritually satisfying because connecting us right there. Um, when you do earth magic, it makes your body feel good. When you do fire magic, or air magic, it makes your brain, your soul work you know, be inflamed and spark, but water is where it really connects to your soul, I think.
Yeah, because you know, it's emotion, it's intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have stuff that you got to work through, it's going to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a lot of tears,
Mm-hmm.
but but like those tears are also very cleansing too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the tarot, when you see like the Three of Swords, for example, and the storm in the background has
Or the
all of the
Nine of
waters
Swords.
that
Right.
it cleanses that pain.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I think water is super important to connect with, like the symbolic energy of water and like physically getting in the water. Like, why does bathing feel so good? It's because water is like one of the closest vibrational match to light itself.
Yep. Yep. What does being in a tub feel like? It feels like being back in the womb, you know?
Yeah.
It's that magical place of security and peace.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I would recommend to anyone to try if you want to connect more with water energy. And I know you're recording this, so if anybody else gets to see this, this might be really
Yeah.
useful. If you focus your energy on a glass of water, or if you have a water bottle that you use all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend writing messages on the water bottle, or get like a piece of like masking
Mm.
tape or whatever, put it on the cup that you're using, and put your intention for yourself when you're taking in that water, when you're receiving it into your body, you're receiving the intention that you have placed on the receptacle for the water. You can also do this, like, you know, telepathically by focusing mentally and emotionally on the water as you're holding it.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you take it in, it will transmute the energy in your body.
Sure. Sure. Um, you know, there's a lot of witches practicing um, moon magic by charging water in the light of the full moon and then drinking
Yes.
it. And if you just drink it raw, you're drinking like that moon water. But I like to add some kind of loving intention to that,
Yeah.
and bring all of that in um, together. There's a so in the document it's talking about a myrrh garden, which is kind of fun. You know, it's like
Yes.
a myrrh little altar or focus point.
Oh, I had a whole bunch of this stuff in my condo before the fire happened, with the
Oh,
jars with the
uh-huh.
sand and the shells and everything.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
I loved it.
And you know, it takes almost nothing. It costs almost nothing for something like that. Um, and you can personalize it to what speaks to you. I personally like, and I broke mine, but I had this beautiful abalone, or not abalone. You know, the seashell that you know you bring it up to your ear and hear, listen
Yeah.
to it,
Like a
the
conch?
ocean. Conch, thank you. Right,
Yeah.
right. I broke it a couple of moves ago, but it you could sit in. I could sit in my bathtub and just and put some salt in it, Epsom salts. I think I put Epsom salts in here. Oh, talk
Oh
about
yeah.
mermaid bath. Um, I put some video links in here too for some ocean music, to listen to. And I put that was your suggestion too, that
Oh yeah.
melatonin sleep stuff.
That stuff is great.
Totally. And you can um, put that in the water um, and just listen to yourself. Just listen to the water, kind of lapping, or what's going on in your water. Um, and I love that. I totally forgot about. Try listening to the sound of the ocean with a conch shell
Oh yeah.
while soaking. Love that. And, you know, and then it goes into mermaid mermaid tarot in the document. Ooh. And I put in a plug there for our tarot card.
Hey.
Ooh. But you know, if you look at the art of these cards right here, um, they're all kind of watery and flowy, and they're bringing you into that realm of feeling and flow and conscious movement. And I think if you read the tarot that way, I mean, you can pretty much use any deck, but if you know, if you send a message to the mermaids to be, I think I put that in here, to be, yeah, well, mermaids, share a message with me, you know, be with
Yeah.
me while I'm meditating or whatever, to attract their help. You can connect more to the realm of feeling for yourself or others, whoever you're doing the reading for.
Oh, you know what? I was going to
Mhm.
recommend listening to the sound of the ocean.
Uh-huh.
There is a website that you can do this for free, and they have like a multi-generator, like a sound generator. Let me find that and I'll put it in the chat. Give me a
Cool.
second here. It's called My Noise. And they also have an app.
Oh,
But mynoise.net has a lot of different water sounds. Like they have coastal sounds, waterfall sounds, and then more oceanic, like ocean surf sounds. And what you can do on mynoise.net is you can combine different sounds, and they also have an app that you can use on your phone.
I'm typing it. Shoot me the link and I'll put it in.
Yeah, there it is, mynoise.net.
Oh, great.
That website has a link to the app, and I like the app because you can combine many different sound generators together. They have some that are solfeggio frequencies, and they have other ones that are more musical. So if you want to use it for other things than ocean sounds, it really is quite versatile. There's every type of sound generator on there. If you're looking for just ambience in general, it's a really wonderful app. I've had it for
Awesome.
years. I love it.
Awesome. 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 So this section of the document is your section. You and Leah's section. So you can do mermaid healing with sound. And you know, water is the symbol for emotion, and the merfolk have always been the most empathetic of sentient beings, and they help us connect to those. And so, you know, so like we talked about sonar, you can use intonations when doing healing on yourself or others. And I added this to the Reiki class that I did last week. And I'm gonna do again, by the way, in July. Because I got like 6 people afterwards going, I missed it, I missed it. Could you, or
Oh,
people that couldn't be there in person who were in the Zoom going, oh, what a wonderful class. I wish I was there in person to get the attunement, because, you know, I mean, I can do the remote attunement, but it's nothing as great as having it in person. But
yeah.
so I'll do it again. Um, but yeah, if you can try these intonations when working to heal your emotions or others. And, you know, I mean, they're real simple vowel sounds, but it's, you know, like, as long as you can hold it, will allow you to connect to your energy or your clients and bring forth the flow.
Yes.
And then ooh brings the energy into focus and lets it spread. Anyway, you can read this. This is fun. This is, and then you add Reiki to it, and you're going, ooh, people are going, ooh. Woo! And then I also put here about the melodies of healing, and I'm sure none of this is a big surprise to you, but you can use different different notes, different scales
Oh,
to
beautiful.
deliberately work with the chakras.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of when I was going to the sensory reduction float therapy pool
Hmm.
that they used to have in Seattle. They're like this
Yeah.
place that I went to is closed now, but
Oh,
um they had sound piped in through the walls of the pool, and you could
cool.
feel it with your body. You could hear it with your ears, even with earplugs. And I had to use earplugs because you don't want to get
The
a
water.
high
Mhm.
Epsom salt concentration in your ears. Um, yeah, this is great. This is super useful stuff.
Yay. Yeah, they used to have one of those in Issaquah too, but it closed a long time ago. Yeah, but I mean, you can emulate it with a bathtub. Not quite as nice, but um, the sound just is magical. Just adds such a magical
Oh yeah.
quality.
Oh, that reminds me. I don't remember if I've ever talked about this before or not. I'm sure I've mentioned it somewhere, but
Yeah.
if you put a crystal singing bowl
Mm-hmm.
into a pool of water, it will definitely amplify the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a body in that water, like you're in a pool or whatever, that vibration it'll break up any blockages, energetic blockages through the body. Just like, if you ring a bell in a room, and it will
Mm-hmm.
definitely lighten the energy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
um, Try introducing vibration to the water that you're in if you're in a bathtub or something. You can
Sweet.
also take a singing bowl and
I
fill
was
it with
just
water and
thinking singing
vibrate
bowl.
it. And then you can see how the vibration excites the water and makes all the little droplets just pop up and dance everywhere.
Yay.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
And then try drinking some water that's been vibrated like that.
Totally. You've heard of Dr. Emoto and
Oh yeah.
the water, the emotions frozen in water. Yeah.
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 Yeah. A really good way if anybody is more of a skeptical sciencey person, like that's my background, is more of the skeptical background. There's a thing called the Big Apple experiment, and apples have so much water in them
Mm-hmm.
um,
It's exactly
that
the same thing.
you can
Yeah.
really see the result if you take one apple
Mm-hmm.
and you cut it in half, and then you put one into one sealed jar and the other one into a different sealed jar, and make sure that they're sterile and everything, and then put a label on each one and say one is the love apple and the other one's the hate apple. Put all the love language into the love apple and say nice things to it like you're talking to a loved one. And then anytime you're having a really bad time and you want to just release all that negativity, put it into the hate apple, and then see what happens after a week. Look at both of the
Right.
apples and see what happens to them, and you will see the difference consistently. You can repeat this over and over again, and you will
Yep.
notice results every time. Your words are really powerful things. Your energy is
Right.
powerful, and the
Right.
vibration that they carry is very powerful, and they have an effect on your health and well-being.
Yep. Yep. And that's exactly what Dr. Emoto's experiment was proving.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it. I mean, I haven't done it with a microscope, but yeah, you can see the results of the way I've heard it explained is you take an apple or a glass of water, and you either well, if you take two, you take one and you say I love you, you're beautiful, nice love and above kind of words, and the other one you yell at, you call it bad names, and say I hate you. And the the water will just feel, I mean, you can just put your hand like right next to the glass and feel the energy coming off of the water, or like
Yeah.
above the glass. You can feel the energy. resonating out of the water. And, Dr. Meadow, or the apple. The apples, when I did the apple experiment, I cut them in half, and you don't even have to wait a few days. You can see that, like, within 15 minutes. The one that you start yelling at or calling names will start shriveling and looking black. And the other one that you said these beautiful things to will stay fine looking for,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
days.
Yeah. That's what I noticed when
Cut
I
in
did the
half.
apple experiment, and I did that multiple times. The only reason that I started it was I was trying to prove to a friend of mine that his negative self-talk was it was damaging his health. And I could see this, but he couldn't see that. And so I'm like, okay, I just want you to try this. And anytime that you have a nasty thing that you want to say to yourself about yourself, I want you to say it instead to the apple. And anytime that you have something really positive and loving to say, like the stuff that you say to your loved ones, I want you to say that to the love apple. And then we're going to look at this apple over the next week and see what happens to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an everyday kind of a practice for that week. And by the end of the
Mm-hmm.
week, it was, you could see the results.
Totally.
So I encourage anybody to try that. If they think that this is, a bunch of hokum, just try it. See what happens.
Right.
It's just like somebody told me, oh yeah, your third eye is magnetic. And I'm like, that can't be. That sounds like hokum, or, that sounds bogus, right? How can that be true? And they're like, just try it yourself. And I was like, I could try that with sewing needles. I have some sewing needles, and I have beading needles. So I tried that. I showed you that before, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
I've never seen that. Mm-mm.
So here's a sewing needle. Here's one of my beading needles that I use. This is a stainless steel needle. I use this to make my bead mala necklaces.
Cool. Uh-huh.
But so your brain is full of magnetite crystals. And
Wow.
this is why you can make things like little paper clips or sewing needles stick to your forehead like this. And, there are people who will say, oh, that's just the oils on your skin, but use an alcohol prep pad. Cleanse it with alcohol. Get the oil off your skin. Try it again. You're going to notice the same result.
Stick it on other places, like your arm. And it
it doesn't work the same way there, because your brain has millions of magnetite crystals in it. And it's not like, you don't have to be a special person for this to work. You don't have to be, oh, your third eye is open. It's like, no. Anyone can do this. This is why it's true that anyone can open up psychic ability, because it's intrinsic to your consciousness itself.
Yep. Totally.
And you can focus the magnets in your brain with your willpower. You can test this in a lab too.
I gotta try it.
Yeah, you gotta try it. So if you have a little lightweight paper clip or a sewing needle, try it out. It'll stick right there in your forehead. Or it might be like higher up on your forehead, or like you might try. I haven't tried around the sides of my forehead because they're curved, but right here is nice and straight and flat. So, and just remember, it's a weak magnetic field. So it's not like a really powerful thing. You don't want to go and like put magnets all around your head, because those will give you altered states of consciousness that you may not want.
Or probably a massive headache.
It could give you a headache, yes. Yeah. Yeah, magnetic fields are powerful things.
Totally. The only other thing we could, and I totally did not add, was going to add some stuff about doing some water energy kind of work, but we talked about it here. And the other thing I had in the document was about a mermaid journal.
Ooh.
Yeah, so start with the colors of mermaids, you know, blues, purples, greens, and fishy colors, and whatever you're called to, because colors have vibration too. And then start writing messages with, you know, crayons or colored pencils or whatever in those colors, and be as cursive and curly Q as you want, whatever makes you smile. But you can write things in your journal like, I began this journey with the mermaids on, you know, whatever the date is. I recognize mermaids are giving me their energy, you know, and you will start vibrating with that intention in that color. I know, and maybe you're magnetizing that color with that intention. But you're making magic.
Yes.
I think this is so important to so many people. I commit to acknowledging my gifts. I commit to acknowledging mermaid communication. You know, I commit to going with the flow. And people, you know, it's like what we want to do, what we, you know, like going back to being a kid when you were free to do what you wanted. And when you encourage adults to do that, it's like letting themselves go, you know, being free
Yes.
again. I think it's beautiful. So anyway, something else you can do. And you can, you know, draw an ocean scene or what, you know, if you're good at any of that. I'm terrible at it. I probably could not even draw a starfish. But I can doodle, you know, as if it were a starfish. You know, and then ask your mermaid to write a message back to you, and
Ooh,
and see what comes out, because you know when you're in that flow and you can be relaxed and open, they'll start communicating with you that way, and probably in nonverbal language and symbols and, you know, pictures and all that thing. Uh, poop. I was also going to put another section in the document about incense. Like one of my favorite is Lady of the Lake, which is um, what's in Lady of the Lake? Jasmine, bergamot, uh, lang lang. So it's about, you know, jasmine, bergamot, and lang lang just kind of take you back into your emotions, smack into your emotions, and just lightly cover them with flowers, you know?
nice. That's a really good way of putting it.
Totally. Because, you know, sometimes connecting to your emotions is not a pleasant experience. So
Yeah,
people,
I can agree with that. I can see that. Sometimes it's
right?
tears.
Right. But if you
Yeah,
can add a little bit of flower essence to those tears, then they sweeten them, you know? It
yeah.
sweetens the it sweetens the pain out, and it just makes it an experience.
I think anything that helps you to hold space for your own feelings, like if that is like a sensory thing, or if it's an aromatherapy thing,
Mhm.
um, especially if, like, let's say the myrrh are there to help you to let go of something so that you can go with the flow. Um, we can't we can't really like move past painful feelings by rejecting them or disowning them or denying them. But if we can accept the temporariness of the experience
Right.
and hold space for it while we're having it, and just go like, I'm going to allow this feeling to work through me as I work through it, and then it will pass. And the myrrh will, they do help to let the stuff flow. They
I'm
help it
adding
to
this.
flow through the body and through the feelings. Yeah. Oh, that's great. This document is so great, Sheri. You do such a great job with this stuff.
Oh, thanks. And it's, you know, it's a living thing, you know, and just keep adding to it as we think of things, and, you know, and I can put it, so I put the recordings on YouTube with the link to the document so
Oh,
that,
nice.
you know, it's available later, and um um and you know, we can just keep adding to the WitchyWoo, because I also feel like, um you know, just like this session today and like all the other WitchyWoo sessions, that the way we all learn is by collaborating, you know? I mean,
I totally
this today
agree.
right now has been such a great collaboration of two great mermaid minds, you know? And it's not just Sheri giving a lecture, you know, that's not magic. The magic is in
Oh,
us.
come on, it totally is.
Well, it's not as magical, let me put it that way, as, you know, multiple people adding to a concert, you know, a symphony.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very magical when we all come together.
We resonate.
Mitzi's like, I want to resonate. Get me a mermaid
Oh,
tail, mommy.
well, that's why she jumped in your arms, isn't it?
Maybe
I
I'll
want to
dress up Missy like a mermaid for Halloween. She's like, look at my mermaid tail. She's a silly baby.
Oh, she loves resonating with her mommy.
She does. She does this like every time I sit at my desk.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
She's a baby.
She is. She's your baby. You're her mommy and her daddy. I love the legs in the
I
air.
love the legs in the air. This is hilarious.
She's embracing her mermaid freedom and
Yeah,
sexuality, right?
she totally is. She's like, I'm free.
I wish I could do that,
It's like yoga.
right? Have you ever seen that website, Cat Yoga?
Oh, yes. I love cat yoga.
Isn't that
I,
awesome?
I started doing yoga recently too, and it's been painful but wonderful at the same time.
Yeah, me too.
I'm doing this particular thing. It's yoga for trauma and PTSD, and that is like
Oh,
amazing. It's amazing
oh,
because it's working on the specific parts, the energy centers that are affected by trauma in the body. And so you're changing the flow for those areas. It's quite amazing. Sorry, I got us all derailed on again.
no, I wanted to write that in the document. What's it called? Again, can you get it like online in
Yeah,
YouTube
it's on
videos?
YouTube. There's a YouTube video that I found, and it is titled Yoga for Trauma and PTSD, and it's like it's taught by a woman, and I can't
She a
remember.
therapist?
Yeah, she's a yoga therapist. And I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel,
Awesome.
but
Yeah,
the
if you find the link, shoot it over. I'll put it in the doc. Because that's all about mermaid healing, I think. You know, mermaid. Some of that freedom of body is you know, it's definitely a mermaid quality, and yoga is like that, isn't it? For us landed creatures, you know, you get
yeah.
this body flow going with yoga that lets you release a lot of emotions. I'm sure that's what that video is talking about, right?
Um
Different
yeah,
positions
well, I mean,
to release. Oh, I
it's a
can't hear
lot
you.
about moving energy through those particular energy centers. So it's focused a lot on
Can't hear you.
the solar
Your sound
plexus.
went away.
Oh
I can see
no,
your lips moving.
I can hear you.
You're not muted.
Let me
Oh,
try
no.
unmute.
I'm
Maybe
hearing your sonar.
you hear my sonar.
It's the
It's
waves.
down. Okay,
Oh,
let's see. Can you hear me now? How about now? Anything?
I still can't hear you.
No. Okay, I'm going to try leaving, rejoining.
Oops.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
try that. Okay,
Hey.
can you hear me
Oh, I
now?
can't hear you. You can hear me? Ooh.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm gonna try something.
Cat got your tongue?
Maybe.
Cat ate your sound?
You.
Did your microphone turn off or something?
That's what I'm wondering.
So weird. Hey, well, I'm going to stop recording now, but thank you so much for being here and sharing in this this beautiful energy.